Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Beautiful April Tuesday. Just waiting to make sure we've got everybody in here for our BrainPOP webinar this morning. I see Janice. Hi, Janice. See some people I know. I see June. Hi, June. I've got a wave from Christina. I see P. Williamson is all backlit with her, she's a shadow for me to see there. I see her waving though. Okay, awesome. All right, great to see everybody this morning. Okay, so we are doing a BrainPOP webinar today, just going over kind of how to get your account started for BrainPOP, how to get your student account started, and kind of what to do once you get started, because there's a lot available through BrainPOP. You know, unfortunately, I was not a teacher when we started having this full access to BrainPOP, so I've played around with it a little bit in the last few days and seen a lot of really great things that teachers could be using, and I really wish I would have been able to use it too. So I hope that you guys will be able to take advantage of a lot of the features in BrainPOP. We're going to start by, I'm going to pull over a screen for the North Shore School District website. If you can give me a thumbs up if you can see the NSD website. Thanks, June. So when you start here, I just want to point out, I know many teachers know how to get here, but just making sure we all know, getting to the staff toolbox. So clicking on staff and then down at staff toolbox. This will bring you lots of resources, but anytime that you're looking for an instructional technology resource, that means a resource for either your platform for how you're doing your teaching, whether it's Seesaw or Google Classroom, or information about making a Google site or how to do a screencast, you'll want to go here to the instructional technology page and then our distance learning section. And the tools for distance learning site has a little page about almost every single tool that we're using. And the way to find the information about BrainPOP on here is to go to this other goodies section, other goodies. And you'll have some information about Google Sites and then this section about BrainPOP. So I made a video a few weeks ago walking you through how to create your account. This is really helpful if you're a visual learner and you really like being able to see the step-by-step. You can pause it and go through the steps to create an account if you haven't already. However, we also have this one-page PDF that also goes through the steps of how to create an account. So for Teacher BrainPOP accounts, they're connected to your Google accounts, your apps.nsd.org. So when you are in the browser, you would make sure that you're signed in to your apps.nsd.org account. Then go to brainpop.com. Now, I already have an account, but for new teachers, you'll click on Login. So I'll log out and show you that. You'll click Login right here up in the corner. You'll click Sign in with G Suite for Education. You'll make sure to select your apps.nsd.org account and not any other Gmail accounts that you might have connected. I already have my account created, but for teachers creating a new account, you would get a picture that looks kind of like this. And you would click I'm a teacher and then enter your school's code and approve of the check boxes. If you're wondering what's my school code, back here in the staff toolbox section, I also have this document that I created, NSD BrainPOP codes by school. So this is listed starting with high schools, then middle schools, then elementary schools. So you'll find your school's code, copy the code, and paste it in the box that asks for your school's code and looks like this. And you'll click submit.
Hey, Maddie,
Go ahead.
there's a question in the chat. Does our
Yep.
district have a preschool tab yet? I noticed that Sorensen Early Childhood Center was listed on there. And that's one of our preschool sites. I'm not exactly sure what, Casey, if you want to unmute yourself and ask that question a little, with a little clarification. Are you searching for a tab inside the program, or were you looking for a code to connect?
I was asking about the toolbox on our website, the North Shore website. Our toolbox is organized by ages, and it doesn't look like there's an early childhood or preschool or anything.
Okay, that's great. That's great feedback. I will share that with Shelby, and she can look at possibly either adding that tab or maybe expanding the elementary to include preschool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, so after you have entered your school's code, you'll get some options. One of them is to import a class. I recommend doing no, instead doing create a class. And then you will need to name your class. Just for organization purposes, I recommend doing your last name, the grade level, and then the school year, 1920. And then BrainPOP creates a code and it gives you directions to share with students and families. The directions that BrainPOP creates are just a very general set of directions. I recommend going back to this BrainPOP section of the toolbox again and clicking on the student account setup PDF. This was created by Jenny, who's the STS at Lockwood Elementary. And this gives steps for students creating an account from they're using their student Google accounts. So it's got the same type of PDF as we have, which is make sure they're logged in to their apps.nsd.org account, click on the waffle and scroll down to find the BrainPOP icon, select I'm a student, click no, make no account. They will then enter the code that you are given to share with them. So as a teacher, you will have a code that you can share with your students. So here's my class. Let's see. After you've created your class, it's a little bit easier to, they'll give you the code right away and it's pretty easy to find. I'm having a hard time finding my code right now because I've already shared it with students. But as soon as you create your teacher account, you will get that code right away for sharing with students. And then you'll make sure to share that with them. And you can share this PDF as well. So those are the steps for kind of getting started with the account. Unfortunately, it's fairly difficult for me to walk through the actual steps of creating a new account in BrainPOP right now because I already have an account and because I've already practiced doing it with some other teachers' accounts, but all of that is available in the setup video that I created. So that should help you if you haven't created an account at all. I recommend getting here, watching the video. After you watch the video, have that PDF handy to help walk you through creating the account. Okay.
Question, how do you receive the code? Does that come through email?
The code actually, after you have created a class, the next screen will say, here's the code that you need to share with students to get them in your class roster. So it'll be there in your
little pop-up window or something.
Yep, it'll be very clear. And especially when you have no students in your class, it will be right here on the screen. It will say, get students in your class, here's the code. And I believe, let me look here real quick. Yeah, if I click on class settings, when I've created the class, it's right here. So this is what I share with my students and I can copy it and share it. I can click share code and it gives me some really general directions about how to share that with families. But I recommend also using this PDF, downloading that and sharing it with families as well. Now, what I want to show you next is just kind of what to do when you get started in BrainPOP. There is a lot that you can do as a teacher. And one thing that I want to recommend is after you have created your account and after you have shared the code with students and families, I recommend going to the main BrainPOP page and up along the top gray box here, clicking on BrainPOP 101. So I already went through the BrainPOP 101 series, so I am now a BrainPOP expert, but this is actually for teachers to help guide you through what's available in BrainPOP. And it goes in order. You watch a movie about how BrainPOP was created and the research based behind it and some of the different features in BrainPOP. Then you complete a challenge, which is one of the features of BrainPOP, but you're completing it as someone who's learning about BrainPOP itself. There's some related reading. There's all of the different things that are available in each BrainPOP topic are available about BrainPOP for educators. So it's kind of a neat way to get you seeing what your students might be doing from a teacher perspective though. So I recommend doing this little course here just to give you some more information, and then you even can get a BrainPOP 101 certificate and you can print it and put it on your wall and feel really, really cool about yourself. So I highly recommend it. I love that June, I can see June and she's doing little expressions while I'm talking. Thank you, June, I appreciate that. So this I found really helpful. It also talked a lot about the benefits, the pros and cons of some of the different activities that are available for each topic, how some of the activities are kind of on the foundational level of Bloom's taxonomy, and then you get into higher level thinking with some of the different activities. So what I would do as a teacher is I would probably think about, okay, what have I mapped out for the remainder of the year of what big ideas and concepts that we're planning on teaching? And I'm going to think about, is there a video in here? Is there a concept in here that I can relate to what we wanted to do? So there are videos about math. There are, if you go into the English section and go in here, there's lots of different videos, even about things like, you know, like using a dictionary and thesaurus. There's a lot of different topics available. You can also search for different topics as well. So if I go to each, let's say conducting an interview, that sounds like a really great thing that I know my students can do at home with their family members. So for our writing assignment for the week, I'm going to have all of them watch this video, and then I'm going to look through the different activities related to it and see which ones do I think would be most beneficial to assign to my students. Which ones do I want to make a requirement and which ones do I want to have as optional? And you can, when you go in here, you can look at the quiz and you can also assign the quiz once you have students in your account logged in. So you then pick the class that you want to assign it to, pick the due date, schedule it for later if you'd like to, and then assign it to your class. Okay. Going out of that. So I recommend, instead of just jumping into like what assignments do I want to do, I would explore around a little bit with each topic that you're considering to see what those different activities are and which ones you might want to assign. You might find that you don't want to assign the quiz and you'd rather assign the game that's associated with the topic because you think it will be a good thing that engages your students and gives you good information about what they're learning as well. And what else? I wanted to show too that we have access to the main BrainPOP page, but there are also other BrainPOP resources as well. So BrainPOP is useful for grades kind of second and up, but BrainPOP Junior is specifically focused towards grades pre-K through second grade. So this might be a good resource for our pre-K, kindergarten, first and second grade teachers to also look at the BrainPOP Junior, which
Yeah, I
would
think
still,
third grade is where they kind of overlap,
yes,
where I think you could really go back and forth between the two.
Yes. Go ahead, Gavin.
So while you're showing this off, I was just pulling up and looking at, you know, some of the other offerings that they have, like BrainPOP ELL and Espanol and stuff like that. The question was about accounts, and hopefully you can kind of confirm this. My assumption is that we create one account and then they can access either level through their apps, whether they're using BrainPOP Junior or BrainPOP or BrainPOP EL.
As a teacher, can they access all of them? Yes, because as you can see, you know, I have my account right here and I can access any part of it, and I can assign it to the students that I'd like to. So just for example, if I do BrainPOP Junior, bear with me, I'll turn the sound off. So BrainPOP Junior also has a feature where it auto has the sound on. So if you hover over text, it will read the text to the students. So that's kind of a nice feature for them if they're in BrainPOP Junior. But if I say, okay, I want to assign this topic about butterflies to my students, then I can also assign this. So right now, I kind of like a BrainPOP Junior as well. So it starts with the video being added, and then you just pick which other ones you want to assign. Next. And then again, you pick the class. So as you can see, even though my students are third grade, they still have access to being assigned things from BrainPOP Junior as well. And let's double check that I can also do that with ELL. So I could assign a placement test, and I could even create, like, let's say I wanted to work with my ELL teacher, or I am an ELL teacher, I could create a class with just my ELL students and then assign it to them, different things in the BrainPOP ELL section as well. And for any Spanish or French teachers, you've got BrainPOP, Espanol, and Francés as well. So I also want to point out this BrainPOP for Educators section. BrainPOP has done a really great job of creating a lot of resources, a lot of support for teachers. It reminds me of Seesaw in that regard, in that they're really focused on being able to help teachers and help them get the most out of the resource as possible. So if you go to BrainPOP for Educators, you'll find some different guides and different tools. They also, I've seen, let me check their news and updates. I know they have a section currently that's for a remote learning section. So let's see. Just gotta look for it. I'm not going to take all of your time looking through all of this, but I just wanted to make sure that I pointed out that there are a lot of resources in here as well. And when I was looking around just through the site yesterday, I was really impressed with all of the different options and opportunities in here. If I'm looking, I think this was the page that I was looking at as well. If you go to BrainPOP for Educators and School to Home Connection, they also have this section with home activities for K to second grade, third to fifth, all broken down by grade level. So I thought that was a really nice offering there from the folks at BrainPOP. So something to keep in mind. Gavin, anything else from the chat that I should address?
Yeah, I think the general questions right now are about the student side. So what does it look like when teachers assign things? How do students see that? How do they submit work? And what does the teacher see?
Okay.
And then stuff about just offering students a chance to explore on their own.
Yes. So just an FYI, when students log into their account, they are not limited to only seeing the things that you assign. So they are able to explore the different topics that might interest them. So that's a good thing to know. And it's made for students, so I would not be concerned about there are no, as far as I could see, no videos or topics that are not appropriate. It's all very appropriate for students. So let me log out, and I'm going to see, I'm going to move this screen for a second, and I'm going to try logging in. I have a former student whose parents gave me permission to use his account when needed, so we will see if I can log in and show you from his perspective. So first, thanks everybody for bearing with us. First, let me actually assign something. Oops. Don't want to have my closed captions disappear. There we go. Okay, so I'm in my account. Let's assign this video about avalanches. Okay, assign. I want to assign the avalanches, the movie quiz, just as review, and I want them to do the related reading. Okay, next. Next, I'm going to pick my class. I want it to on Wednesday, next Wednesday, and I'll have it sent out tomorrow. Or no, wait, I want to do it right now because I want you guys to see. Okay, assign. So I've assigned that. I will delete it later. Now let me log in from the student view just so you can see what pops up for the student. Thanks for being patient, everybody. I did not think through having this written down on the side before starting, so I'm almost there. Okay. I have now logged in as one of my former students. For those of you that don't know, I was working at Morelands Elementary as a third grade teacher until March 2nd. So I entered this position right in time to help out with teaching teachers about how to use these different tools. So this is one of my students who's still currently in third grade. And he is already connected to my class. So when he logs in with his student number at apps.nsd.org account and does the login with Google, this is what comes up when he's signed in. So as you can see right now, he's just at the main page. But at the top here, what he'll see is this notifications. So I'm gonna click on here. It says you were assigned to avalanches assignment. Okay, so it's showing here's your assignment. You need to watch the movie, do the quiz, do the related reading. So this is what the student will see once you've done that, when you've added an assignment for them, as long as they have created that account and they're in your class that is from your dashboard teacher view. Gavin, do you think that kind of answers the questions there that were showing up?
I think so. If anybody else has more questions that they want to add or clarification, I was just reading the a couple of folks are asking about the connection between Seesaw and BrainPOP. And I don't think there's any direct integration. My response was, I think you'd ultimately provide a link over to BrainPOP with directions and instructions on what you're asking them to do. Students would do something in BrainPOP, and then if you wanted them to bring it back in Seesaw, they would either save a screenshot of what they did in BrainPOP or some other artifact, and then pull it off their app or computer, desktop or whatever, back into the post and post it as part of a material inside their post, like a screenshot typically, I think.
Yep. Yeah, that would be, there wouldn't be a direct way to have it integrate with Seesaw, but I often use the student announcements function for if there was something that I wanted to have students do. You could post it in the journal. You could post a link and say, go to brainpop.com and log into your account. So you could do that this way. Or you do post student work and do a link, brainpop.com. You've got the link, and then you can add a caption and say, your assignment today is in your BrainPOP account. Please log in and go to the notifications at the top of the screen. So that's an option for what you could do. You could also, my other thought of what I would probably do is, instead of posting it to the journal, I would do send announcement. I would send to all students, and I would say the same thing, like, your assignment today is in brainpop.com, please go there. And then what I would probably do is I would go to what they see when they log in and take a screenshot of the top, like take a screenshot of this section right here, so that they know what I mean when I'm talking about the notification section. So now I would say add attachment, upload, and I would attach this screenshot that I just took. And I would have my message, like if there was something that I was worried that maybe they might miss if I just share the link, that's what I would attach and share as well. So it was really clear for students and families what it is that they need to do and how to get where they're going. So that would be what I would do with Seesaw. I have not played around. If there's a question about Google Classroom, I have not played around yet with the integration with Google Classroom and BrainPOP. I believe because there is that sign in with Google, and because you can use Google Classroom to roster your class in BrainPOP, that there might be a little bit more functionality for having assignments pop up in Google Classroom than in Seesaw, but I haven't played around with that yet.
Could you do a sample, go to the student work and type something into the Avalanche quiz or assignment, and then go to the teacher view so we can see
Sure
how that translates?
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so let's do the review. I'm not going to watch the whole video. We'll just see about my prior background knowledge about avalanches. Okay. So do the quiz. What's the most basic underlying cause of avalanches? I'll do that. Oh, I was wrong. I didn't know. I don't know much about avalanches, apparently. Oh my goodness. I really don't know much about snow. So we're going to have a lot of wrong answers here. I'm just going to quickly select A for all of them just to go through, and then we can see on the teacher end what it looks like. Oh, it's not similar to these things. There we go. All right. Can you tell that I don't have it in me to just do random ones? I have to actually do my favorite or what I think is right. Okay. Ooh.
We probably want to see at least what it looks like when you get one wrong too.
I
So
did.
feel
I
free
got
to.
a few wrong,
Did
Gavin.
you?
So
Okay, cool.
remember when I did 3 wrong answers?
No, I jumped over to look at something else.
Okay, yeah.
Briefly.
No, I've gotten them wrong. Don't you worry.
Okay, good. Good.
Last one. Okay. I do know the difference of opinions and facts, so I can do that one correctly. Okay. All right, so I've answered it. I got 7 out of 10. Okay, your score has been sent to 3rd grade 2019-20. So now let's log out of his account, and I will log in with my account and see what shows up on the teacher end. Okay, so I'm going to go to my dashboard, which is kind of my teacher dashboard where I can see what's happening with my classes. Okay. Let's see, Avalanche's assignment progress, not done. So it shows here on the side, I have no one that's watched the video. I have one student, me, who did the quiz. I can view the work to see what their score was. And it looks like what happened here, if you remember, I answered wrong, and then correct. So it looks like what it will show you is their first incorrect answer until they get the correct answer. So you won't be able to see like all of their incorrect answers if they answer it incorrectly multiple times. So there's that. And yeah, I like how it breaks down each part of the assignment and shows you which parts have been done, shows you by student, you can see what they have done, and it shows you that overall, none of them are done because no one's done all 3 parts of the assignment. It also looks like after you've assigned it, you have the option to view as a student, which is nice, so you can see what it looks like on their end and the due date. You can also copy the direct assignment link. So that message that I sent in Seesaw, instead of go to brainpop.com, I could also copy the assignment link and share that out as well. So I'm learning about all these features alongside you guys as well. Gavin, any other questions?
I don't believe so. I don't think we missed any. I know that I was looking at the scoring, the classrooms connection.
Okay.
We'll cover the Seesaw link. I think that's it.
Okay, let me go back here, and I am going to, before I forget, go to my dashboard and delete this assignment. Can I do that, or do I just hide it? Let's see. This is good to know as well, right? So I'm noticing I don't see a delete assignment, but I just hid it. So now let me go back to that student view and see what it looks like from their end. Good to know that once you've assigned, there's no quick delete button. Okay. All right, so I'm logged back in as a student. I'm going to go to their dashboard. I'm wondering if because he's already worked on it as me, that it's there. Yeah, so I'll do some more research on my end so I can work on deleting that assignment so it doesn't show up for my former students. But hopefully most of you aren't doing 2 jobs at once and experimenting with assigning things and then trying to delete it so you don't confuse your students like me. All right, I love how I did not even use my actual slideshow. I'll just go through this, make sure I didn't forget anything. I included this quote, "Just keep swimming," from Dory from Finding Nemo, because if you think about it, often some of the things we really remember in life and hold on to, we learned in cartoons. And that's actually kind of the philosophy of BrainPOP, is that giving content to students through cartoons is a really good way to engage them and get them to retain that new information. So that's the whole theory behind BrainPOP. In fact, if you do the BrainPOP 101 course, there's some information about how the creator of BrainPOP was a doctor who treated cancer patients and children with cancer, and he found that showing them in cartoon or in a video explaining what cancer was and what was happening helped them to understand and process the information much more easily than if he was just explaining to them orally. So that's the idea behind BrainPOP. And I know anyone who's seen Finding Nemo remembers this phrase or has been reminded of it. Like, we're all probably thinking of it these days too, right? Just keep swimming, guys. Just keep going. Just keep teaching, no matter if it looks different or not. We worked on getting teacher accounts started. I showed you the BrainPOP 101 section of BrainPOP. I showed you where there's directions for NSD students to set up their accounts. I showed you how you could use BrainPOP to supplement your teaching, and we went through the Q&A section. So we kind of did all of those. I've been the iTech coordinator who's kind of taken the lead on seeing how BrainPOP can work for you guys. So if you have any questions about BrainPOP specifically, definitely let me know. Yeah, but if there's any other questions before we finish up our webinar, go ahead and let me know. You can unmute yourself too if you just want to ask it instead of typing it. But otherwise, that's the end of our presentation. So if you need to take off, that's fine as well. Thanks, June. Hi, Cindy. I can't hear you very well. Can you talk nice and loud? Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I had to move my mic. Okay. So this is great. I love it. I already have it set up, but I'm just curious how often they add new content. If this is something, because there are sections that I think are cool, but then I'm thinking, okay, I'd like more. So I'm just curious if that's something that maybe you could find out from from them is, do they update it annually or, bi-monthly or whatever? So that'd be cool to know.
It does say, I'm looking on their help center, and it says, although this is an old article. Oh, that's more about like the thing. One thing you might want to try too, Cindy, is I found also they do update also their Facebook page. So if you have a Facebook account, you can follow them on Facebook, and they post on there as well when they have new videos. So I kind of liked that you could look back and see what some of their newer videos are. I do know when we were looking at the I think it was on the junior page, it said, I don't remember. Oh, it was movie of the week. I couldn't remember if it was showing the latest or just the one that they're featuring. Yeah, so I'm not sure on the timeline on that, but I'll do some research and get back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Maddie?
June.
Question. Hi, good to see you. And
You
Gavin,
too.
else. Question, can you search by standard or do you just go by subject area?
I think it's by subject area, but let me do BrainPOP. Search by standards. Okay, here's what I found, June, in that BrainPOP for Educators section. So BrainPOP aligns all topics to the standards that matter to you. So I think what you have to do is you look at the topic, and then within that topic, you can look and see the standards that are aligned to it. So I don't think there's a search for the standards and then find the topics related. But once you find a topic that you think might be beneficial, then you can look and see what standards it touches. But I'll do some more research on that too. Oh, and June, I would also just recommend, June, I did a quick like BrainPOP standards on search on Google, and I'm finding like more articles within BrainPOP about connecting to the standard. So definitely check that out and see what you can find. They have a specific BrainPOP Common Core page of that BrainPOP for educators that has some different videos and lesson plans that are related to not just the video itself, but a lesson plan related to it as well. So good thing to check out. All right, it's looking pretty quiet. Let me look on the chat. I'm just seeing a lot of thanks from people, and no one else is unmuting to ask a question. Unless Cindy, did you have one more, or are you just still unmuted?
I just wanted to thank you because this is so awesome. And I've used it already in a lesson a while back before when we started the e-learning. And I think it's super engaging for the kids.
Absolutely.
And that robot shows up, so it's gives continuity from lesson to lesson. It's like, oh, there he is again. I wonder what he's going to do. And, so I think it's very engaging.
Agreed. I used it a few times this past year with my class, and just showing the videos. I wasn't really exploring the activities, but the videos are really well done. They have a lot of good research behind them. And if even just as a teacher, if you want to show a video, but then you also look at the related resources and the primary sources, just as a teacher, it really helps with giving you more background information on a topic and understanding where they are pulling the information from as well. So really great. Yeah. Okay, thanks you guys. We appreciate everybody coming in today, this morning. It was so nice to see so many friendly faces. I miss all of you. I know you miss each other too, and that's one of the nice things about the webinars, I feel like, is that we get to learn things and also see a few of each other too. So everybody take care, and we will hopefully see some of you soon again this week for some more webinars. Bye.